Okay. Okay.
Share na rin?
Live na po, Mr. Chair.
All right. Okay, magandang hapon sa inyo mga ka-Pix Pro. It's Friday once again. Magandang hapon sa iyo, Mr. Chair.
Good afternoon, pero hindi ko pa nakikita.
Maya-maya makikita mo na rin yan, Mr. Chair. Yan. Okay, so share na tayo ng ating live. It's Friday and it's Kwentuhang Cybersecurity once again. Kumusta
Yun.
lang Kumusta lang lahat? I hope and syempre good afternoon sa ating two beautiful ladies here. Miss Maria and Miss Dasha, how are you?
Good afternoon, Ruby.
Good
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dasha. Kumusta naman kayo? I hope you and your loved ones are okay, and hindi greatly affected by Typhoon Christine.
I'm all good here. I live in Antipolo, so medyo mataas kami, although there was some rains for hours for the
Yeah,
last 3 days, suspended classes, ganon, but we're all good. Thank you. All safe naman.
that's good. That's good to hear. Yeah. And yung ating mga kasamang the Pix brother sa Aurora at sa Quezon and La Union, I hope you guys are okay.
Yeah.
No? Wala naman nag-message sa Mr. Chair, no? Everyone seems to be okay, no?
I think all the chapters, none of the chapter officers reported any unusual or untowards incidents, no? Bacolod, La Union, Aurora, Quezon, and CR. And we have our guys, our team in Iloilo right now. Thank God that everyone, at least within the Pix Pro family, is safe and dry.
Yeah.
Although we are praying for those affected. In fact, we are gathering clothes, no, that we can give to donate to evacuation centers because maraming nagtawag ng asking for dry clothes and mga gamit nila sa na-wash out dahil na-wash out yung kanilang bahay, and that has always been the foundation of Pix Pro, no? Our advocacy extends beyond cybersecurity. We have extended help. We have provided help, especially to those who needed the most, no? In times of not only cyber-related issues but also natural calamities.
Yes, Mr. Chair. And to add, actually, meron tayo dito, as per our inquiry, yung mga most needed na mga items, no? Baka doon sa mga nakikinig sa amin at nanonood, if you wish to donate, ito yung mga kailangan daw, beddings and blankets. Of course, yung mga clothings, canned or packed goods, bottled water, and toiletries like bath and laundry soap, and other hygiene kits, and also kitchen utensils. So yun.
Siguro before we allow our guest and partner, no, for this afternoon to start, batiin lang natin yung ating mga early birds.
Yes.
Pierre, good afternoon, brother. Si Benson Lucas. Happy birthday daw. Maraming salamat, kapatid. Si Doc Perez, good afternoon din sa'yo. Si Ace Espinosa, good afternoon, Kapix Pro. From Baler ito. Kumusta kayo dyan, no? I hope you guys are okay. Yung ating executive director who is currently in Iloilo together with the assistant executive director. They're also watching. Good afternoon. And also from our Pix Pro chapter, Aurora chapter, Brother Jello, good afternoon. And si Alexander from Ascot, also Aurora, no? They just activated their Pix Pro Junior, the Cybersecurity Alliance, which is very kasi I think nitong November we will be there to witness the activation ba yun or induction. So also from Ascot, Miss Georgie, good afternoon. Micah, si June Santos, hi Ma'am Maria daw. You probably know this guy, Miss Maria.
Yes,
And of
sir. Si
course,
Sir June. Hello, Sir June.
yes. Si June ba ito o si Junjun? Si Senior June ba ito or si Junior June? Good afternoon, everyone, no? So later we will continue with the greetings. I think we have a good number to right now, and we can have our guest speaker to start having. Can we have our board member and NCR chapter president to introduce our speaker for this afternoon?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. For today's Kwentuhang Cybersecurity, we'll be discussing about, we'll be looking at the phishing global trends and how businesses are building and reinforcing their human firewall with holistic cybersecurity training. And our speaker for today is a cybersecurity employee training expert who advises and coaches companies in obtaining and maintaining zero incident rate due to human error with a holistic training approach and leveraging on the right tools. She works with businesses and organizations across North America, Europe, Asia, and Australia. She is Manila based but spends a quarter of each year in Belgium. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, mga ka-Pix Pro, let's welcome Miss Maria Ramoso.
Hello,
Hi,
everyone.
thank
Good
you for gracing our
afternoon.
invitation.
And thank you for inviting me. Thank you for the lovely introduction as well. I think I'm just gonna go jump right into it. But again, thank you for inviting me. Like I told Ruby earlier, I truly applaud what Pix Pro is doing, and I'm really happy to be part of this, your Kwentuhang Cyber. So, sinabi na ni Miss Ruby earlier what the topic is going to be for today, and it's all about, phishing, the human firewall. But just to give you a quick rundown of the agenda. I hope I don't bore you guys to death, but we'll try to make this as interactive. So just feel free to ask any questions that you may have. I'm sure you're going to be sending questions over chat, and I'm happy to answer any of them. For today, though, we're going to focus on the most common attack type, and that's the one that has caused 90% of all the data breaches in the world, and that is what we call phishing. I'm sure everyone knows what phishing is. We're also going to be very briefly looking at the history of phishing because, as Sun Tzu said, knowing your enemy is winning half the battle, diba? Or, well, that at least is the short version of it. So we're coding art of war, yes, because make no mistake, this is a war against cyber criminals. Every day we lose some battles, but then, of course, every day we also win a lot of those battles. We're going to also take a quick peek at the past, then we'll move on to the current trends, and then finally, the future of phishing. We'll also talk about how businesses nowadays are combating. So, this is what's really important here, how businesses are combating these attacks, touching ever so lightly on the use of technology, but equally, or I would even dare say, more importantly, focusing on the human element. Because after all, you may have all of the most sophisticated, multi-layered security infrastructure in place. You know, you have your endpoint protection, authentication, firewall, spam filters, and whatnot. But the reality is, none of them is 100% foolproof. So somehow, somewhere, something will get through your defenses. And we all know that all it takes is just one wrong click, which could then lead to potentially catastrophic consequences. And this is why we need the human firewall. So let's maybe get to know the enemy, okay, just a little bit better. The exact year of when phishing started is difficult to pin down, but according to popular lore, phishing actually started in the mid 90s, circa mga 1995. So I'm sure some of you guys, maybe a bit young, maybe for some, to remember those times when nakadial up pa tayo. But then those would probably the titos and the titas would probably remember AOL. Again, back then, it was all about dial-up access. Now, some people, rather than paying for the service, they were clever and naughty enough to disguise themselves as admins. They spoof the unsuspecting customers and then they phish them for login credentials. Now, this is when that phishing scheme actually grew. Somebody released this visual basic called AOL, okay, an offshoot of the AOL. So that's a tool that includes credit card number generator. So as early as back then, there were email and IM bombers. His agenda, the cyber criminals' agendas was quite simple. It was really just to annoy and to take things from others. So that that objective is still very much present with the current or the cyber criminals nowadays. Their objective is to take things from others, whether it's money, control, power, okay, whether from individuals, small, medium-sized type of businesses, or large enterprises. Okay. Now, I don't know if any one of you guys recall, remember, or even know about the love bug back in 2000. Okay, so back then, okay, most of the world, to be exact, about 45 million Windows PC, again, to be exact, fell victim to one of the first social engineering attacks in the form of what appeared to be a love letter. So it affected about 10% of the world's interconnected computers, okay? And the damage, it was estimated back then to be at about 6 to 8 billion dollars. So that's worldwide. It was a massive, massive attack, which cost a lot of organization, a lot of money. Okay, now that strategy of using human emotions to elicit some type of action or reaction from the people that they're trying to bait or fish is still very much the strategy of fishing. This duplicitous act comes with a good understanding of human psychology, or knowing exactly what makes people act or what makes people tick. Now, by 2004, phishing has started to become really big. Okay, it started targeting financial institutions and their customers. By in 2008, okay, that year gave birth to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And this time, that has allowed the cyber criminals to, well, a lot more anonymity because it now allows transactions using malicious software for secure and anonymous transactions. So again, it's getting a lot bigger. And today, okay, phishing still remains as one of the biggest cyber threats of our times. It's evolving together with the rapid advancement of technology. Phishing is becoming faster, stealthier, and trickier. Now, that was, some odd 20 years ago. Let's now like super fast forward to this year, to 2024, and let's talk about trends, global trends to be specific. All right, so according to the APG, the latest APG trends report, the most targeted industry sectors right now is actually social media. Okay, social media platforms. They're the most frequently attacked sector, and it represents, as you can see there, okay, 40% of all of the phishing attacks just in the first quarter of this year. Now, that day, okay, in the past, it was really targeting the financial institutions, the banks, obviously because the money was there. But it has the financial institutions have obviously become a lot smarter. Banks have learned their lessons and have naturally tightened their security. So now the cyber criminals turn towards platforms and activities that do not require high security. Okay, so thus you have your social media, SaaS, webmail accounts such as your MS Outlook and Netflix. Okay, now from a brand impersonation standpoint, Microsoft, without a doubt, is still the most imitated brand. That accounts for about over more than half of all of the brand phishing attempts. Next to that, okay, second would be Apple, and then of course Google. Alibaba has actually debuted in the top 10 most impersonated brands, and Adobe, okay, is still very much in there. Now, other brands that are included in the top 10 would be Twitter, Adidas, WhatsApp. And just, be forewarned for all of you WhatsApp users. Again, be forewarned. There is a new threat to WhatsApp users. There is a website called WhatsApp-io.com, and it's designed to mimic a WhatsApp security center. The users are supposed to enter their personal information under the guise or the pretense of resolving account issues. This is actually part of a much broader trend. There are several other similar domains, okay, of WhatsApp, all registered, okay, and reported right around the same time frame. So again, be forewarned if you are WhatsApp users. All right. Let's now take a look at, well, the deceptive links. The deceptive links, at least according to Cloudflare, they are still very much the most common phishing method. You will see all of those malicious links inside those emails, as well as SMS or smishing messages. Ransomware via phishing accounts for 35% of all of the ransomware attacks globally, okay, all initiated through phishing emails. In fact, there were two quite serious, actually very serious ransomware attacks just this 2024. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of this, but there are two in particular that have made serious damage. There's the Petya ransomware, okay? Petya ransomware is in fact an old ransomware attack. It started back in 2017. There's this Maersk, which is a global shipping company. Back in 2017, they had to shut down for an entire week, and that cost them $300 million. Another big company, Merck, okay, they're a big pharma company. They were forced to delay their production and their distribution of products, their medicines, because of the ransomware attack. Okay, again, Petya ransomware, and they lost $200 million. Okay, so the Petya ransomware is spread through phishing mails, malicious downloads, and infected USB drives, exploiting the company's security flaws. Another one to be wary of, okay, would be the SOVA Android malware. That is also done via phishing. That results to file encryption, okay, on the devices of its victims. And nowadays, it's also introduced over QR code phishing, or also what we now call quishing, as well as SMS phishing or smishing. Now we go into the AI-driven phishing. Now, AI, everyone uses AI. It's easy to go into your computers and use Chat GPT or some open chat, right? Chat GPT and the likes. AI-driven phishing. Harder, very hard to detect nowadays. Attackers use AI to craft human-like messages, very sophisticated, very hard to determine whether it's legit or not. We're going to be talking about that a little bit more because now we're going to be moving into the future of phishing. So, naturally, as technology evolves and advances, so do the cyber criminals. Mas sophisticated na sila nowadays. Social engineering, okay, is again all about human psychology. Okay, the manipulation of people, okay, to get what they want, using emails, SMS, phone calls. They would all seem legit at first, but because they often pose as someone you wouldn't immediately suspect that that somebody's duping you. Then the next minute, you lose your personal information, and you may in fact also lose financial assets. Okay. Now, I don't know if you've heard of this, but phishing is also now a service, PaaS. Okay, there are toolkits and platforms available out there in the market, the dark market, for orchestrating massive phishing attacks. We're talking about organized cyber crimes here, okay, with structured and streamlined processes for creating and distributing phishing campaigns like super fast. They cyber criminals offer services to customize templates, the URL redirection services, analytics. They even have analytics dashboard to show them how a phishing campaign, is progressing and how effective they are. Basically, how much money it's making, right? Phishing is a huge money-making business. Okay, it's illegal for sure, and yet it is very profitable. There's also cloud-based phishing, harder again to detect with the more traditional security measures. The use of reputable domains, such domains as well as SSL certificates, also makes it very difficult for users to discern what's legit versus what's not. Okay. Okay, so cyber criminals are also exploiting your IoT devices. So your, say, home appliances. We're becomingly increasingly integrated those iOS devices. I mean, we're very dependent nowadays on those devices, as well as SMS, or rather mobile apps. Okay, they're now indispensable tools for communication and productivity. Your iOS devices, be again forewarned. Okay, your smart home appliances, which often lack robust security features, they're quite vulnerable to being exploited by cyber criminals. So phishing attacks will target your IoT devices, and they may involve malicious emails or messages about, say, software updates or security alerts. And then, okay, the mobile apps naman are used as phishing vectors. The average smartphone has about 80 plus apps installed on them. Although on average, a smartphone owner only uses about 10 of those apps on a daily basis. And every month they would use, about 30 different apps. Okay. So fake apps are on the rise. They deceive users into giving away personal and sensitive information or granting unauthorized access to their device. So, double, triple think about the next time you try to download an app out there. All right, let's also talk about artificial intelligence. So AI, ML, and deepfake, okay, deepfake technology. They're now further revolutionizing the landscape of cybersecurity for both the defenders of cybersecurity and the cyber criminals or the attackers. Now, the AI-driven phishing campaigns, they're personalized now, they're automated, and they're adaptive and far-reaching. So cyber criminals are making use of the power of AI to learn the behaviors of their targets, the users. Okay, they learn the behavior patterns, their personal preferences to build the profile of their targets, and it also adapts and evolves. So it's quite dangerous nowadays. Most people really do not have any regard for what they post on social media. They don't really fully realize the risk of overexposing themselves. Okay, that really social media is a gold mine for cyber criminals. AI and ML are also now able to evade detection. Okay, that would be for the more traditional security protocols. So by continuously evolving their tactics in response to defensive measures, they're able to work around those security protocols or evade them completely. Deep fake technology also allows for more advanced manipulation techniques. So you can create hyper realistic, super convincing audio or video recordings to impersonate people. It happens on a daily basis. I see it happen in North America. In Europe, I would get stories. I would hear stories. People will share about how they have been duped, okay, by vishing, smishing, or phishing. Okay, so these the targets, the people that are being targeted regularly are, of course, those that possess access to valuable assets or sensitive information. So the attackers, they will conduct their, thorough reconnaissance. They will study their targets. They will leverage on technology, use the necessary tools in order for them to gather as much information about their targets and then send them those very sophisticated phishing emails. Okay, so now the question is, how do we combat these daily deluge of phishing attacks? How do you mitigate that? Okay, so for this, we immediately turn to technology, of course. So it's a head-to-head battle. Okay, you use technology, and it's going to be met with technology as well. We do need to use multi-layered approach to cybersecurity, to building your cybersecurity defenses. There's cloud security posture management, email security gateways, endpoint protection, device management policies, network segmentation, security monitoring, MFA, 2FA, all of those, even zero trust infrastructure of advanced threat detection. Even if you have all of that, and all of them, I'm not saying that they're not necessary. They are absolutely necessary. We need technology. But again, let's, just say that even with all of the most sophisticated, multi-layered IT security infrastructure in place, the reality is none of them is 100% foolproof. We know, again, all it takes is just one click, one wrong click by an unsuspecting or ill-trained employee, and that could lead to catastrophic consequences. And again, who's the clicker here? People. Again, I remind you guys that 90% of data breaches include human element. Let's just call it what it is. Human error. Okay? Tao lang, di ba? Sabi nila. So you do make mistakes, but those mistakes could possibly cost you millions or billions of dollars, not just for one company, but it could be targeting an entire industry or maybe an entire nation even. So over the years, security awareness, okay, for to again combat the ill-trained, well, the dangers or the pitfalls of employees not being trained well enough. Over the years, security awareness training, or as we call it, SANTs, have been in the market. This is a billion-dollar industry. Okay, it's a huge, market, especially in North America as well as in Europe. But even with all of the training and the quizzing. So you send people to training, you give them quizzes every now and then. It does not seem to be making any impact because, as we can see, human related breaches are still on the rise. Even FBI reports that BEC attacks still cost billions of dollars year in and year out. The traditional security awareness training really is no longer sufficient because, after all, becoming aware does not necessarily mean becoming engaged. There's a huge difference between the two. Most SANTs are there to simply satisfy, a regulatory or a cyber insurance requirement. It's really just to simply tick off a box. Masabi lang na meron silang something in place, right? But it really does no good for majority of the people. That means risk exposure remains to be quite high. What we need in the present, in this dynamic, ever changing landscape of technology, is to manage human risk, manage behaviors. This is only possible with a holistic cybersecurity training that focuses on building and reinforcing that human firewall. Okay, so how do we build then this human firewall? Okay, well, I've mentioned human risk management, so let's first talk about that. We need to understand that this requires a significant change of mindset, strategy, processes, technology, but how we approach an old problem in a new world. So I'm not going to go through every single one of those right now because I do want to focus on what's more important here, and this is going to be more tangible, something that can be easily implemented by any organization out there. And that's going to be the holistic cybersecurity training. You got your AI-driven phishing simulations. So if cyber criminals are using AI in phishing people, then we need to use the same technology in order to simulate those phishing attacks as a way to test and train people, right? And then, of course, we also need to have a very carefully curated security training program. It starts with the recognizable workflows combined with security best practices as well as policies. And then, holistic cybersecurity also need to include family security training. This is not something that the traditional SATs actually do. And we need to change that because people who bring a mindset or a behavior of cybersecurity vigilance in their personal lives, okay, in their homes, will bring it to their, when they're at work, and vice versa. If they practice that at work, they will be bringing it back to their families. It's a mindset. It's not something that you're supposed to switch on and off. Like, nasa bahay na ako, I'll switch it off, okay na, and free for all na. No, you need to bring that everywhere. Anyone who uses mobile, who gets on the internet, needs to have cybersecurity as top of mind at all times. And then you also, of course, have cyber hygiene practices or training for the apps and devices that we use on a regular basis. We need to teach people how to optimize the settings of their apps and devices, whether for business or for personal use. Spotify, okay, for example, with its 615 million users, is very much a targeted brand. So if you have, I'm pretty sure some of you guys have already received emails saying, important, we noticed some unusual activity in your Spotify account, or say your premium account just failed. Okay, so be careful with those because those could very well be a scam. They're quite popular, they're very common ways to fish people. Okay, WhatsApp too. Okay, did you know that WhatsApp data is now on the dark web? There's more than 500 million records of people all over the globe that are out there. Okay, this was because there was a data dump on the dark web, which exposed some personal information of the WhatsApp users, and that includes phone numbers, profile pictures, usernames. Again, more than 500 million. This is why it's important that holistic cybersecurity training includes cyber hygiene coaching. And then we also need to include as part of that training cyber threat sharing. Okay, so these would be cyber threat news. It has to include real world cyber incidents, things that happen in the bigger cyber world, very practical and very relevant. The general population, okay, they really wouldn't know anything about, say, how CrowdStrike, the CrowdStrike crash back in, I think it was in July. So why would they care, right? Okay, they don't know anything about that, at least again for the general population. But well, why should they care though? Okay, well, for one, Microsoft, okay, which is again used by millions of people all over the world, is connected with this crash. And remember, it is the most impersonated brand. So, what did the cyber criminals do when the CrowdStrike IT crash happened back in July? They actually capitalized on that incident, and then they sent out phishing emails offering a fix at a cost for the CrowdStrike issue that people were experiencing if they were Microsoft users. So again, that makes it relevant as well as a well, practical to know that such things do happen and must be shared with the general population. Measuring and quantifying behavior risk. Okay, so this is not simply to calculate human risk scores based on completion rates and well, the quizzes. So because that's very popular among the SANTs. You give them training, they say they're complete, you give them a test, they pass it, and then you're done. Okay, we really need to, what we need to do is to identify risky behaviors based on the interactions with various other sources. There has to be a comprehensive set of behavioral change metrics and interventions based on identified risk. This is exactly what the bigger organizations out there are currently doing. I personally work with businesses, with companies and organizations that have shifted to just simply looking at the overall bait rate or the click rate to now more towards the behavioral risk score, which essentially is a predictor of the likelihood of an organization or any individual falling for a data breach due to human error. So that's one number that actually encompasses several different key performance indicators. Again, all in the attempt to identify where the risks are based on human behavior. Okay, so again, there's simply no workaround here. We need to make sure that we fortify the human firewall with holistic cybersecurity training because at the end of the day, only behavioral change truly matters. All right, folks, and that would be the end of my presentation. I'd like to ask if anyone has any questions right about now.
Ang ganda ng topic, no? Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing, Maria.
Thank you,
Of course, you're
Maria, no?
welcome.
And very timely. I just I think few days ago I posted in LinkedIn an incident, no, of a reoccurring hacking to a certain organization. And what I mentioned there is, when you are hacked, you need to change your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot just do the same response over and over again and expect a new result. Before, when
Yep.
we are victimized, we call our vendors. We review our firewall policies. But today, if you are compromised by one threat actor, chances are you have been compromised already by more than 2 or even 3 threat actors.
That's true.
That should be your thinking. And behavior plays a very important role in improving the cybersecurity posture. But before that, before we continue, Pres Ruby, I think I saw our Aurora chapter president, Sherwin. Good afternoon. And a lot of his members are also watching. And
Yes, and we also
also,
have from Cyber Battalion, Mr. Chair. You're
Oh,
watching.
Cyber Ninja is he here?
And the troop.
Okay. All
Kasama
right.
yung tropa. Yeah.
Lieutenant Colonel
Okay.
Rodquinto is also here. I think I'll
Right.
also your NCR chapter VP, Ellen, is also signed in. And the incoming chapter of Bulacan, Ray, Bulacan, Pigs Pro Bulacan chapter. He is also online. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes, yes. All right. Please, if you have questions, please, huwag kayong mahihiya, no? Type in your questions. But while waiting for the questions, kanina habang nagdi-discuss ka, naisip ko lang to. So, let's go back to the cybersecurity, a positive cybersecurity posture, no? And let's discuss this one more time. But how do we really um, create effective cybersecurity culture? No, wherein the employees really understand their critical role. No, kasi ang iniisip nila, yung ano lang yung cybersecurity group lang dapat 'di ba? But this time, no, how can we foster a proactive cybersecurity posture that they really understand their critical role in even in identifying threats, no, and reporting it, and also for them to really value the need to educate themselves in terms of cybersecurity.
That's a really good question, and a question that is asked by million other organizations out there. Something that is asked every single day when I speak with different businesses all over the world, right? How can we get people engaged? How can we make them care? Um, it's all about getting people to maybe enjoy the training a little bit. It's something that is, that may sound simple and yet quite difficult to do. That is why a lot of security awareness training and the holistic training are all about gamification. So lately we're utilizing neuroscience principles to train people. We need to make sure that they're engaging. So yung traditional na you put out a video training out there, say about a specific security policy or MDM or whatnot, you put it out there, 30 minutes na info security training, and you think okay na, diba? That does not work anymore. That's a very passive way of learning. What you need to have there as part of your training would be something that's going to allow people to interact with it. Okay, and that's going to encourage or motivate them to actually move from one training session to the next. So it has to be interesting, it has to be engaging, and it also has to be gamified. Because keeping up with the times, people they have a million and one things that will take away their attention from their training. Ilagay mo sila in a 30-minute training session, chances are you lose their attention on the 15-minute mark. Okay, that's just the reality of things. We need to make sure that these training are kept short enough. So even if it's like for a short period of time, impactful siya, it's engaging, and they will actually retain what they have been trained on. But the reality again is these micro learning sessions, the short learning sessions, that can only give you so much learning for that one session. So the next thing here that you need to do is to make sure that the training is ongoing. So hindi na po pwede ngayon yung annual cybersecurity training, even quarterly cybersecurity training. It has to be ongoing because, again, we need to make sure that it's a mindset. It's a mindset shift. We need to make sure that cybersecurity remains top of mind for everyone. And how do you do that? How can you do that if you're only talking about cybersecurity once, twice a year, diba? So you can hardly expect people to retain any of the information that you've trained them on if you only do it ng ganun ka rare. But if you do it and you talk about it regularly, then it's going to be made part of your company culture or your organization's culture. It will then play a very vital role in shifting that mindset. from a phishing standpoint, because that's exactly what we've been talking about earlier, right? That also has to be ongoing. There are many different types of phishing attacks out there. And we need to make sure that those different attack types, phishing attack types, are given to the employees. They need to be familiarized with those. They need to know exactly what to look at, what to watch out for. The domains, hover above the links, ask themselves, why am I getting this email? Look at the like I said, the email domain. There are a lot of things that can be done. But you train them, okay, one time and people will forget about it. So you train them and then you continue to test them to make sure that you can expose the vulnerabilities in a safe environment. Okay, before sila mag-fall dun sa real phishing attacks, do it using safe environment. Do it using your own simulators.
I think to add, no, making sure that the awareness and educational program of an organization is successful. It requires a lot of resources, budget, and technology. And I know some entities who acquired phishing simulation tools, and they also do this phishing simulation tools, but there is no analysis. There is no analytics involved, no? And so whether successful or not successful, the company doesn't really know. It's just that because it's part of the IT security policy, they just do it, but without measure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
Just simply out of compliance, no.
so to monitor whether quarterly your users are improving in terms of vigilance, in terms of spotting suspected or suspicious emails, or not. There is no analytics involved because there is no data that's being analyzed by a cyber a normal cybersecurity professional won't be able to do those things, or even IT guys won't be able to do those things because it requires a different type of thinking. That's why we say that when you say cybersecurity profession, it's a wide profession. It's not just technical, definitely not just governance, not just risk, no, but it also requires people who can think that last quarter we were this quarter we are now here, but we are still struggling. So next quarter, what are we gonna do? Because you are not just trying to prevent people from becoming victims of phishing. You are trying to change the mindset. You're trying to change the culture of the entire organization. No, so there is an entire process, an entirely different kind of thinking, which requires people who can do that, who can spot we are not getting any better on this part. This type of user, they don't care about these things. This type of users, they care about their families, So those kind of things need to be integrated. It's not just implementing a policy. It's definitely not just buying the technology. No, it's not just the process, but you have to have someone or people or group of people who can make sense of every data that you have in that campaign. No? And then you need to connect that to your performance bonus. Anyone who did not comply or got fished will not get his bonus or her bonus. So something like that. But you have to equip them. You have to equip them for the whole year, no? So the training, the awareness, all those things in combination needs to be implemented because you want to change the behavior, as mentioned by Maria. You want to change the behavior. So you will only know that when your users are reporting, even if the email is legit. Just because they do not understand what the email is, they will now think this must be phishing. Right? And that is one measure that you can tick on your boxes. I think VP Ruby, meron tayong mga questions dito.
Yeah, titingnan natin. Meron pa. So, yung binanggit mo kanina, Mr. Chair, sabi mo, compensate mo sila, di ba? Yung bonuses. Pero meron din bang parang pwede na kapag ikaw ang naging whistleblower, parang gano'n. Meron kang mga nakikita mga, for example lang, no, na merong suspicious na ka-employee, and then ano mo siya, could that also be part of, I should say, proactive cybersecurity posture?
Well, definitely, but that's not phishing. We're just talking about phishing. Of course, no, especially if the company has a whistleblower program, no, that can be any cyber-related incident or suspicions or alerts need to be reported as part of the policy.
Okay, thank you. All right. Babatiin ko lang, meron dito, Mr. Chair and Ms. Maria, from ASCOT Cybersecurity Alliance, a PIXPRO Junior Affiliate. Ayan, talagang active na yung PIXPRO Junior ng ASCOT. Hello sa inyo.
Wala ng bagyo doon. Nakaka-connect na sila.
Oo, wala nang bagyo at nakaka-connect na. Alright. And ang dami mga, actually marami tayong mga PIXPRO Junior. Ito si Ron Andil Canyaveral. Also from PIXPRO Junior affiliate ng ASCOT.
Basahin natin yung comment ni Christopher Lagwata ng ating suki, ang aking classmate sa LaSalle, Masters in Information Security. So, agreeing with the discussion, cybersecurity professionals should go beyond training to address psychological vulnerabilities. That's a good term, by combining awareness programs with phishing simulations, behavioral reinforcement, psychological resilience initiatives, open communication channels, and a security-first culture. Individuals not only gain knowledge but also develop the habits, mindset, and emotional resilience needed to resist manipulation, reinforcing human defenses alongside technical measures. So there is a power of information, and the words used in awareness, once delivered carefully, can change people's behavior in having that security-minded culture. To be honest, this is the same technique that these criminals use, but instead, we use validated and positive information to people, represented through any form of education or training. So, very true. No?
Yes.
The cyber criminals are also studying their targets. Unlike when phishing first came out, no, na wrong spelling pa, broadcasted siya, so whoever is will bite, will become a victim. But today, it's very targeted. It will touch your human weakness. No? You need a job, they will send you a phishing text. You won a lottery, no? Just few weeks ago, I was asked to help someone who got victimized by a package scam, no? Na may package daw sa customs, and kailangan magbayad muna siya para mailabas, and then he kept on paying until sabi nung illegal pala yung package mo, para hindi ka ulihin, magbayad ka. So, ang galing, di ba? It's for them, it's also a process to victimize you until sa point na nagbayad ka na ng hundreds of thousands or more than 1 million.
Right. There's a question here, Ms. Maria and Mr. Chair, from Myron Datu, how can we apply the multi-layered approach at human level?
Really good question again, because it applies to the technology side of things. We do that on the human side of things as well. So the multi-layered approach again would be to make sure that we have a complete curriculum first, a structured training. Okay, ongoing testing and training that is. And then it was already mentioned earlier, ni Mr. Chair, that we also need to make sure that we have the right people who are looking at the data, that all of the testing and the training that we're doing are actually quantifiable, that everything that we do are data driven, results driven as well. So we need to make sure that we have a robust cybersecurity training curriculum in place, a really good testing and training program, and that we have the right people who's going to constantly monitor, analyze the data, and then make data-driven decisions based on the results.
Agree, 100% agree.
Okay. Mr. Chair, nabasa mo na ba itong sinabi ni upcoming president ng Bulacan? He said that's why it's part of the mission of PIXPRO to make people aware of the different kinds of cyber attack.
We make sure that we contribute and play our role, while our effort, if we consider the nationwide issues and problems, no, especially in cybercrime victims, it's very small, but we make also sure that every parent, every children that we educate, no, it has an impact at least in that household. Because every time we go to the community, we go to the barangay, we talk to the parents. There are two sessions. One are for the children, and the other one are for the parents. No, so we also have a very limited data to say that it created a wide improvement, but every household that we know of that became more vigilant, not only in phishing, but as we also educate them on this online sexual abuse and exploitation of children. No, parents became more vigilant and very much interested on what's going on with the gadgets of their kids. We count our success by every family or every children that's prevented from becoming victim. No, but of course, it requires a village. No, it requires the whole community and a whole of nation approach to really solve this problem. And I have, last August was my 30th year, no, in this industry, and still today we are talking about phishing that like it's a never-ending problem, and it's just grown to the highest level because the cyber criminals, the syndicates, have put in money just to create an operation that can also earn them not only tens of millions of dollars, not only hundreds of millions of dollars, but billions of dollars. No? It's really a growing problem. So we continue by especially this kind of topic, no, that Miss Maria just provided everyone. We always make sure that within our family, whatever we heard here, whatever we learned here, we also discuss, no, in our. I also tell my friends to not call me when they've already lost thousands or even millions of pesos. they should call first before they become a victim.
Yeah, okay. Oh, by the way, nagulat lang ako kanina doon sa isang presentation ni Maria na nakalagay doon, fishing as a service, no? Parang Tas
Kasi nga
meron din
organized
sabi,
crime na siya eh.
right, oo, tas sabi ng isang friend ko nag-message siya, sabi niya meron na palang gano'n. May phishing
Yes.
as a service na pala. Ay,
There
grabe,
are
no?
tools and platforms that are being sold out there just so, cyber criminals can launch massive phishing attacks. And so how do you combat that, right? They're being, more sophisticated, more organized, more structured in their approaches. You need to counter that with your own AI-driven phishing simulations as part of your testing and training program.
Yeah.
Because traditionally, yung mga SANTs, they normally will send 1, 2, 3, 5 templates ng simulations, phishing simulations, and then it goes out to hundreds or thousands of people, right? And people talk about these things. If they know that it was just a test, they will ignore those emails. So that renders the whole exercise completely useless. So what do you do? You leverage on AI to craft automatically phishing simulations based on the user profile and using machine learning to give the AI the ability to learn the behaviors of the users based on their interactions with those simulations. Meron na tayong mga tools that are actually capable of doing that. The same exact strategy, or maybe even better, that's being used by cyber criminals nowadays. We use the same techniques, the same approach to combat that and to educate, test, and train people.
Agree. May comment dito si Mr. Michael Yero. Employees need to be informed the basic target and type of phishing so that they will be awarded at first hand and what will be the first thing to do about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's already 5:58. This topic we can talk about this for the whole day, even for the whole week, no? Hindi tayo matatapos because it's just getting bigger and bigger. Hindi pa natin pinag-usapan yung nabibiktima at ilan at magkano yung nakuha dito sa financial losses dito sa mga grassroots, no, na nabiktima, which is the big companies. They lose 200 million. That's okay with them, but a small family earning small amount, losing 1,000 pesos, that's already a 1 week food for everyone, di ba? And
Right.
this type of cyber criminals, ang wala talaga silang pakialam, ang sasama ng kanilang mga no, kasi kahit 500 pesos kukunin nila sa iyo, kahit yun na lang ang pera mo, walang ano ba? Wala silang anong tawag dito, walang konsensya. Well, ganun nga ang trabaho nila eh, but at least naman lang sana, no? Especially victimizing also children. I think we have our board also and Vice President for Finance, Sheila, is also online. Good afternoon.
Hi, Vicky Sheila. Yes. All
So
right.
we can ask.
Perhaps, Mr. Chair, what we can do next time is to focus on the current landscape of fishing, no? Para mas lalong maging aware talaga yung ating mga ka-PEXPRO kung gaano na talaga kalala ang fishing na ito. Perhaps
I think ang
one
ano
of
lang
these
dito is
cases.
since Miss Maria is with ESET, and I have used ESET, no, integrated to a security operation center. It's very powerful also when you talk about protecting your endpoints, and that is protecting your users from committing mistakes, no, of clicking phishing links or inadvertently visiting websites with automated download of malware, no. So it is even more powerful if it is connected by our security operations center with the back end, with the 24/7 incident response team, no, and the incident investigation team. Right now, it's really something that can improve the security posture of an organization. I leave to our guest speaker to wrap up.
I think we've already said pretty much everything. We just need to make sure that, so everything starts with us. Awareness, self-awareness muna. And then, make it a point to campaign for it. We have also made it a point to talk about cybersecurity with anyone and everyone that is willing to listen to us. If we spread the word and we work together in truly building first yung culture, the technology, the processes, all the tools will come, okay? But first, we need to make sure that there is that general understanding first and acceptance that this is the reality nowadays. Anyone can become a victim, and we play a vital role in protecting ourselves, our family members, and the rest of the society against these cyber criminals. I will leave it at that. Pretty high level for now, but just like with what Miss Ruby said earlier, perhaps in future sessions we can go deeper into the realities and effects of phishing and other
Yes,
cyber
thank you.
attacks. Thank
Yeah,
you all
that's
so
very
much for
well said.
inviting me today.
Thank you, Miss
Thank
Maria.
you,
It was
Maria.
very informative, short
Yes,
but compact. We
yes,
hope to have you again in the next coming sessions, no?
Mhm. I would love to
Discuss.
be part of any future
We can
sessions. Thank you,
continue
sir.
with fishing, or you can
Mhm.
also give a new, different topic in cybersecurity. Well, since ESET is our technology partner for Pix Pro for the whole year, so we expect you or with the same topic or any topic there is in cybersecurity. PP Ruby,
yes. Yeah, Mr.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chair, can we ask Miss Desha for a few words?
Ms. Desha.
Once again, thank you, Kapix Pro team, and also Miss Maria for the very insightful talk about building a human firewall and phishing. Actually, it was mentioned earlier that human errors or tao lang nagkakamali rin. So actually, for me, this highlights the importance of empowering employees or the users with the skills to identify and respond to suspicious emails or deceptive messages. So we really need to strengthen our collective defenses to address any potential weak links. Yes. So once
All
again,
right.
thank you, and we hope no this will not be our last session no, for the year and for with Pix Pro. Okay? Kasi very insightful talaga yung naging talk natin this evening. So once again, thank you very much po.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you.
Desha.
Thank you, Desha. Okay, so it's already 6:02. Maraming salamat po. Again, thank you, Iset. Thank you, Maria and Desha. Thank you to all our Kapix Pro na lagi-lagi naririyan, no? Nakikinig, nanonood sa atin. Thank you so much. And Mr. Chair, please do the honors.
Okay. So, it's been a while. Isang kwentuhang cybersecurity na naman ang natapos ngayong linggo. Isang oras lang pero parang ang haba at laging kulang, no? So it's a weekend again. Ang sabi ng iba ay happy weekend. Kung nasa cybersecurity ka, happy
Happy
lang.
lang. Walang
Walang
weekend.
weekend. Thank you, Miss Maria, and thank you, everyone. Stay safe
Thank
and drive.
you.
Good
Thank you, Miss
evening and
Maria, Miss
enjoy your
Desha.
dinner.
Thank you,
Thank you
Isa.
once
Thank you, mga
again.
Kapix
Desha,
Pro.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.